Steve. The remembrance beacon above us will be relit shortly. The survivors who will light it are sitting in front of you. 70 years ago today, these distinguished gentlemen were the young men of Pearl. They were the ones who were shocked at dawn. And many of their buddies would awaken for a final time that morning. Somehow these fellas survived. Let's meet these survivors. Survivors, when I hand the microphone to you, please rise if you want to. State your name, your rank, and your ship or your station on the island of Oahu, December 7th, 1941. And then share with this audience a remembrance of just what happened to you just that morning. Firstly, I'd like to introduce the president of Pearl Harbor Survivors Association, Mount Diablo Chapter 13, Mr. Bing Wallinter.
Aloha. Well, how can I follow some of this? Well, it's all great that we can all be here, and we're so fortunate that we live here in this area and where we have the facilities that we do. And so let's all make the best of it. And anytime we're called to take part and that we can do some good, let's just hang in there and do it. Mahalo.
Are you a survivor?
I'm Bill Hamilton, and I was aboard the USS San Francisco on the 7th of in Pearl, and I recall very vividly the first time I realized there was some action going on is the light cruiser St. Louis right across from us, across the slip. They were moving these 50 caliber machine gun stands around on deck, and they were firing up. I didn't know what the hell we were shooting at. And but after I looked up, I saw a formation of aircraft up there, and these guys on St. Louis were meaning business. So I knew something had to be going on. And
hold the microphone for him.
Oh, yeah.
Hold it for him, sir. Sir, hold it for him. Just hold it for him.
There you go, Ron.
Go ahead and talk, and I'll hold it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, much better. And anyhow, if I had those jet aircraft, torpedo bombers were coming so close over our fantail that if I had had a rock, I could have hit them. And one thing that you don't hear much of ever is that night. It was all about 8 o'clock at night, black out there. And everything was quiet, very quiet. And I was on a set of phones that was connected to the main battery director up above. And the officer up there had told me that Now, there's a flight of aircraft off the Lexington, I believe it was coming in at night after dark. Don't shoot them down. So I didn't realize there were so many machine guns in Pearl Harbor at the time. Anyhow, I won't mention what the name of the ship was, but right across the dock from us was another heavy cruiser. And I spotted these running lights, aircraft running lights, quite a ways south of the harbor. And I had a gun crew of 3 men on this 30 caliber. And they kept coming in, that flight of aircraft. And when they got right over us, some knucklehead on this cruiser across the dock from us, pip, 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 pip. And man, that dock, that Pearl Harbor exploded, I'm telling you. There was, if anybody was there at the same time I was, they would know what I'm talking about. But anyhow, there were so many tracers in the air that it actually threw a light on the doggone harbor. And they shot down all 8 aircraft. And one of them landed on my favorite watering hole. Anyhow, we were in the Navy Yard for overhaul, but within 3 days we had all the guns back on the ship, the anti-aircraft guns, and the engine room got their stuff together, and we took off for Wake Island. But Wake was had been captured by the Japanese in the meantime, and of course, the aircraft we sent in got shot down also. But anyhow.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because of time, and there's quite a few of you, just keep it short on that morning. Yeah.
That's all I've got is short. Yeah, I was a third-class petty officer as of about 2 months for time, and I was a personnel officer at the com crew bat force staff on board USS Honolulu. Anyway, we got hit, and the Admiral didn't have a show after that, and so he took about 3 or 4 of us, and we went to Melbourne, Australia, and we set up the 7th Fleet staff at that time, and I was with Admiral Kincaid and General MacArthur all the way through World War II, and we pushed the Japanese back. Took us 3 years to do it, but by golly, we got them there, and I shook hands with the 2 guys that were running the place, and they went and signed up. We haven't heard from him since about that. I mean, God bless you all.
You're welcome.
My name is Henry Freeze. I was aboard the USS Detroit at Pearl Harbor, tied up at at Fort Island on December 7th. And Chuck talks about that bomb that hit Fort Island. Well, I'm fortunate enough, I seen that bomb leave the plane. Me and a friend of mine was standing by the catapult on the cruiser I was on, figuring what we was going to do ashore that day. And we seen the planes come out of the air. And we watched the first plane drop his bomb. And that's when I yelled into a guy, hey, they're target practicing in the bay. And didn't realize what was happening until he peeled off and we seen the sun. Then we knew what was happening. So we had an admiral aboard named Dremel. He was the admiral of the destroyer battle force. They was trying to turn our ship around so we could go out, but he had to stay in the harbor until he directed all the ships what to do. While we was turning around, we had a crew of people out there, sailors, taking in the lines and getting ready for us to get underway and turn around. And this Japanese plane come in and strafed them. And as the man said before, if he'd have had a rock, he probably could have hit him. He was close enough that I could see him grinning. We was lucky. We was fortunate. The good Lord was on our ship that morning. They missed us with a bomb. They missed us with a torpedo. They strafed us 7 different times, never injured a soul. My remembrance of it, I could talk for an hour on it, I'm sure. But I know that time is short. I'm going to give this microphone to someone else. Thank you for listening, and God bless all of you.
Well, my name is Lloyd Busby. I was attached to VP 24, based Kaneohe, Hawaii. That's known as the windward side of the island.